Hi, this is Pat McDonald, your host for Vote for Vermont, where our tagline is listening beyond the soundbites. Joining me in studio today is I was going to say old friend, but just a friend I've known for many years. That's better, right? Is Sterling Peebles, who is an advocate, an educator, a dissemination coordination for GMA, which is the Green Mountain Self-Advocacy. I forgot the S in there. And founder of the Employment Center. And joining Sterling is Karen Topper, who is the administrative director of the Green Mountain Self-Advocates. And welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to see you. It's been a while. What, a week? We had lunch last week. So anyway, the reason I invited Sterling and Karen to join us today is because October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And Karen is an employer and also works in with the disability community. And Sterling also works for Karen and at UVM, and we'll talk about all the things that Sterling does. But she has a wonderful website that is called the Employment Corner, which she tries, well, I'll let her talk about it, but she tries to match up people with jobs. And so it's a good thing. We need more people back in the workplace. Where did they all go? I mean, the restaurants are opening on Wednesday because they don't have enough staff. I don't understand. Right. And there's a group right here who would be great at working. So would you like to talk a little bit about yourself, young lady?
Hi, I'm Sterling Peebles, and I am a local in Montpelier, and been a big fan of this show.
Oh, you're so sweet. I know, I hadn't seen her in a couple of years. We met when, while I was working for state government. I'm not sure how we actually met. Do you remember? It was way, way far, but I hadn't seen her for a couple of years, and we're in Price Chopper. All of a sudden, from across the, Pat McDonald. And I knew from the voice, I went, aha. You were with Star, and you know her sister. Doesn't she not work for you as well?
Sky people.
Sky, oh, what did I say, Star? Sky.
That's right, yeah. Sky worked with us for many years and then moved on to raising two amazing young sons.
Oh,
so,
wonderful.
yes.
Good. So she's a stay-at-home mom?
She also does some work remotely with the University of Vermont with a graduate program there.
Excellent.
Yes.
Very nice. Well, that's great. Yeah, she was with her sister. Cool. So, Karen, maybe we'll just, so everything sort of fits in together with what we're talking about tonight, could you talk about the Green Mountain Self-Advocacy Group and who they are and what we try to do? Yeah,
so Green Mountain Self-Advocates, we're celebrating our 30th anniversary this year. And we are a small nonprofit, but we have outreach throughout the state of Vermont. We have 14 people with intellectual and developmental disabilities that work for Green Mountain Self-Advocates throughout the state, and they work as peer advocates, most of the employees. Max Barrows is someone...
I love Max.
Yeah, Max is one of the more famous, in addition to Sterling Peebles, both of them very famous, have big outreach throughout the state and have been well known among businesses, among civic organizations, at the legislature.
I know he's been up testifying.
Exactly. Yeah. So just people are just trying to support each other to be able to, for people to, make their own decisions, be able to be part of their fabric of the community, just like people without disabilities.
That's great. Well, I used to attend a lot of dances that you had there. And do you remember Jim Lowe?
I do, yeah.
What is he doing? He used to do that paint program.
Yeah.
And I bought maybe 20 of them over time.
Wow.
And I used them almost like wallpaper in my grandchildren's bedroom. And they got so excited every time they would come to see the new pictures that we had. There was one painting that was done with toothpicks.
Wow.
And it was so intricate how the artist used the toothpicks to anyway, they just thought it was fabulous. And then when they got old and moved out, I donated them to Washington County Mental Health in their Schnoozelen, in the special building that they have over on Spring Street where they have their arts on the Schnoozelen room. So it's in the hallway there.
Wow,
So all of those, and I thought Jim's program was wonderful.
that was great.
Yeah, it's
for
good.
sure.
So anyway, I need to let you a little bit more information about Sterling. Sterling has been, and I want to talk about this, Sterling, since February 2025, you've been a member of the Governor's Committee on Employment of People with Disabilities, correct?
That's correct.
And what do they try to do as a group? Because I was on that for a little while.
Sterling, you just were helping to participate in the Spirit of the ADA Awards. Maybe you want to talk about
Ooh,
that a
what's
little
that?
bit.
That's where they have a campaign with people with disabilities working at these wonderful businesses out there, and
Oh,
they have one named after David Saggy.
oh, David, yeah.
And I think they just recently gave out awards to 6 different businesses in
Nice.
Vermont.
For hiring the disabled.
Correct,
That's great.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Is Maureen Mayo, is she still on the board? Does that name ring a bell to you? This is a long time ago, maybe not. She's in a wheelchair?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay, because we met and became friends, and then you know how life goes on. We both moved on. But I know you've been in that committee for quite a while, and you're also a board member of the Association of People Supporting Employment First in Vermont, which I have not actually heard of, but it sounds like it's sort of the same, trying to get the word out and educate people about hiring people with disabilities.
Yes, for unsupported employment initiatives. We have a chapter, but I'm a member now, but I used to be the vice president.
Oh, excuse me, very nice. Yeah, and this is a national organization?
It is.
Yeah,
I'll send you the link.
that's great. And now to your favorite subject, your website, the Employment Corner. And you also you have 2 out there. One says access to good jobs for all. Is that the same website or a different?
It's the same one.
It is, okay, so it's just different titles. That's nice, and it's got great information. You get you have almost 950 followers, I saw.
That is true, yes.
Yeah, that's great. And where do you get the information about the jobs themselves?
I don't get jobs specifically. I just try to make sure they have informed resources that help them make informed choices,
Okay,
informed decisions, and let them guide what they want to do. I just help push the resources out into the group.
that's great. Well, you do a good job, because it's hard in Vermont to find where to get things done. It's just, we kind of leave folks hanging out there. Go get a job, and then, oh.
And I think, Sterling, you also have resources for different audiences. You have,
I do for specific target audiences.
Oh,
so what kind of information, what kind of people would benefit from checking out your posts that you put out?
Some like agency workers who provide employment coaching.
uh-huh.
Who can help provide the coaching for people who have jobs. And let's say maybe HR people. And hire people with disabilities.
That's great. Well, and you have an HR, you have a certificate in human resources from Champlain College, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. You said you liked human resources. That's what I did for almost maybe 20 years. You like HR. That's because you like people.
I like people, I like to be social, and also it's embedded within the employment topic itself.
Yep. It's important to get along and to do things correctly. And there's a lot of
Policies out there too.
I'm sorry, sweetie, what?
Policies.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, an employee handbook is very important. You know, now you do the website for Green Mountain, or some of it anyway, right?
Exactly, helps us with posts and keep things up to date, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's great.
Yeah.
That's good. Do you do dances anymore?
We have a gala that's coming up
Oh, there you
actually
go.
next week for our 30th anniversary, and we have a conference that we host, a 2-day conference
Oh.
that usually has like over 600 people that attend. It's one of the larger
Awesome.
disability events in the
Great.
state of Vermont. Yeah,
That's
So,
great.
yeah, and it has a big dance as
Well,
part of it.
Sterling worked with me, and I'm trying to remember, Representative Sharp. We had legislation passed that allowed kids who weren't going to be in graduation to graduate with their class, if I even explained that correctly. And that was really rewarding to do that. It was apparently something that people really wanted to have happen, so they would feel a unity with their class.
Correct.
And I think it was David Sharp, yeah, from Bristol, and me. We did that, and Sterling helped us. Do you remember that? That was a long time ago.
That was way back in the day.
Way back in the day, my dear. Yes, it was. I didn't think about that till we were talking. Anyway, to tell you, Sterling also went to UVM and graduated from the Think College, correct? And are you still working for them 1 or 2 days a week?
And 2 days a week, it's been 10 years officially now.
Whoa, that's great. And that's a special program on the campus. And you graduated?
Yes.
Yeah, good job.
Julie, what are your thoughts about people with, I mean, when you graduated from high school, 20 years ago, was going to college something that was kind of on the agenda, or?
It was on my agenda, but it was not particularly given to me by a school as an option to go to.
Good.
And so nowadays, what do you think? So 20 years later, what do you think life is like more for students
They have
with
more
disabilities?
options now.
Yeah, well,
Like they have flexible pathways,
yeah.
high ability.
Well, I think there's some technical things too, from systems and IT perspective that help students who might have some disabilities, help them to pass the courses and to learn a little bit easier.
Right.
But I think UVM's Think Colleges,
Right.
I've looked at that curriculum and said, it's excellent. What a great opportunity.
I mean, Sterling really been a pioneer.
Yeah.
I remember meeting you when you were in high school, Sterling, many years ago, and you had this dream of going to college, but there wasn't paths like there are now, as
Right.
you said, for
Right.
people to kind of have that dream come true.
Well, I
So,
think that maybe you can talk about it, and Sterling certainly can, from her friends, about what kind of employees they are in most cases. I think well, you can talk about, what do you think people with disabilities, do they bring something extra to the workplace because of their experiences and willingness to work?
I think there is, because we need more people with disabilities in the workforce to be more inclusive
Yes.
and to make sure the hiring practices are inclusive and accessible to everyone.
Exactly, inclusive and accessible, I like it. Yeah, I think I was telling you on the phone, and I've told Sterling this when I went down to a funeral. A friend of mine in Tarrytown, I was sitting at the table with a woman who had a daughter who was disabled. And I was ready to adopt her and bring her home because New York was way behind Vermont. I mean, they still had those
sheltered work.
sheltered workshops. And she was sad that it wasn't there because it gave her daughter something to do. And we eliminated the sheltered
In
workshops.
2002.
2002.
Yes.
Okay. I'll tell you one thing about you. You've got dates down. The other day she was rattling off, well, we met in such and such a date, and I can't even remember yesterday. But when you look at, I started writing down all of the things that I know of, and I'm sure you and Sterling have we eliminated subminimal wages in 2002, speaking of which meant you do the job, you get paid equally.
Yep. And I am actually working with the director who helped with that transformation of getting rid of that shelter workshop in Vermont.
Oh, who is that?
Dr. Brian Daig.
Oh, good for him. Because that's not challenging and that's not educational, it's not anything except.
It was also based on his dissertation when he went to UVM.
Oh, cool. That's great. Yes, and I think the wage thing is very important. And we just talked about closing the sheltered workshop, and they've got all the Vermont Assisted Technology Program. I don't know if people know this, but in Human Services in Waterbury, there's a whole store with adaptive equipment. And I have to bring my husband, we've talked about it on the, I think he has Parkinson's, and there are some things there that would help him greatly. And I don't think people know that that's there. Have you ever been?
I have been.
Isn't it great?
The trial center that they have there.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. You just have to make an appointment. That's just the clue here. But
they have all kinds of equipment that you can just borrow for
Right,
free to
right.
just to figure out what would meet what really can provide accommodations for you to be able to live at your house or work on the job, and then you can try out the equipment first, try out the technology, the different apps or different programs, and then you'll know what to be able to purchase or to be able to get.
And people, I'm not sure that they know. I had them on the radio show with me, and of course, reasonable accommodations. You must work with friends who they have accommodations. In order to work, they need to have certain things given to them or provided, right?
Yes, but it's also true for college too.
Oh,
Because,
for college, they can do
like if
that?
they want to take a test, like in a quiet room, that would be used for accommodation.
Oh, I didn't know that. So if the noise bothers them or something, they could
Yeah.
have the test in private.
Yes.
Huh. And is that part of being accepted, that you have to say, I can go to school, but I need X, Y, Z?
Correct. I mean, it's part of federal law that was
Yeah.
actually passed many years ago, Act 504, that says that people are able to get accommodations to be able to go to school.
Good.
But it's more connected to the fact that the colleges and universities get federal money, and so the Act 504 is all about organizations or entities that get federal money need to be able to provide accommodations to people with disabilities.
Well, and I don't think people are embarrassed anymore because it's accepted, and what can I do to help you, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
None of your friends have any trouble with asking for accommodation, do they? They just get it.
They advocate for themselves.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. There's a word. Oh, that reminds me. Your dissemination job, is that to get the information out there? It means disseminate,
Yes.
like it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? By website?
By website, by social media channels,
Right.
and I also use the blog.
Oh, you have a blog.
At St. College, they have a blog.
Ah.
I learned how to use it over the years, and I'm more proficient than I used to be.
Yeah. Well, that comes with some of us that are a little older have some learning curve. It was hard for me when all this started. I was a typewriter person.
Me too.
Catherine Gibbs, how's that? Serious. But I used to be able to type pretty quickly, but then the computer came along, and that was sort of hard. But anyway, I also, did you ever get involved with the Vermont Center for Independent Living? Know the people that work there or the people that go there?
I knew one of the directors.
Sarah Lunderville?
Yes.
Yes, isn't she great?
She's wonderful.
I know. She lives in Berlin, and she was on my show one time. And honest, she practices what she preaches. She really believes in it, in her mission. It's a great organization.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we collaborate with
Oh,
them
do you?
so
Oh, I
much.
bet you do.
Yeah, we just really are kind of sister organizations.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's
Yeah,
really
you must do
wonderful.
that with a lot of nonprofits, huh?
Well, we all kind of team up together,
for
yeah,
sure. Well, you,
to support each
there's
other. Yeah.
noise in group.
Yes,
You have to
exactly.
speak loudly, and carry a big stick or something, whatever it is. Oh, the Vermont Association of Business, Industry, and Rehabilitation. And what is that group? Do you know what that is, Sterling?
Viva,
Weber.
Weber.
Oh, of course. Never mind. Yeah. Do you deal with them a lot?
I don't.
You don't?
But it's a great organization,
Yep.
though, to be involved with.
That's great. And I just think the people that I know that worked at one point, when we were doing that legislation, we were touring around meeting people that were at work and school, and I just found the dedication to work was stronger in them, perhaps because they just wanted to work and had that desire to work. So I think it's good that people give everyone a chance, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sterling, tell us a little bit more. Why do you think, from your perspective as a person living with a disability, like why is it important for people with disabilities to be able to get opportunities to work?
Well, for me, as an example, I want to earn my own money, not have somebody give it to me.
That-
Buy the things I want to buy, and I just go out and buy something I don't really need, which I can
But it's
easily do.
Yeah. It's important to have your own money, you're right, because you don't want somebody asking, what are you going to do with it, right? I'm going to
Right.
do what I
Right.
want to do with it, thank you very much. Right?
Right, and also being part of a community at work is a great way to be social and make new friends that you haven't had before.
Yep, right. Now, you are excellent. I have seen you give presentations. There's a couple of videos on YouTube that is Sterling Peebles, and you've talked a lot to groups, and I bet you're very effective. Do you like that?
I do. I'm just too effective.
You're too effective?
In
Is
my
there
own
such a
mind.
thing? Oh. Well, I think I've listened to a couple of your presentations, and I think they're very good and well received. You know, that's good because you talk from the heart, and you've also experienced. You know, you've lived what you're trying to teach them
Yes.
about how to go out and be successful. And if there's anybody I know who is successful, it is you. So what made you start the employment center itself on Facebook?
Well, I'm just right. So I want you to have a group on Facebook that actually had like a employment focus on it. So the questions I in my mind were, how can we help people with disabilities get good jobs and how to help them?
Good.
So I decided to come up with that question, and the second question is how to get more professionals and other people to have a lively discussion about the topic of employment. That's how I came up with the idea of the employment corner.
Good. That's great. I think talking about it is very important, and I think it not only helps the individual with the disability work, but it helps everybody that they approach and contact and work with, doesn't it? Because it helps us to understand and to be supportive,
Yes.
right? Good for you. That's great. So what were you hoping when you started this page, hoping to accomplish in putting this page out?
Just for both parties to have a more in-depth conversation about it and to have a lively debate, but not to get too caught up in the political side of things.
Politics. We won't go there. We'll skip right over politics. But you're right. People need to reach out and understand the benefits to them. I don't understand why they don't get how beneficial it is, especially these days when people are desperate for workers. I mean, right there, just
Right.
do it.
I think
Do you invite employers into Green Mountain Self-Advocacy to meet the members and to talk, or is,
we don't. We
Well, that
probably
would-
should consider doing something
yeah,
like that.
because
yeah.
that would be a great, have a little snack or something and let them mingle and talk, and because they would see, just conversation would be
Right.
great.
We were looking at the numbers a little bit before we came in here, and some of the recent statistics from the Department of Labor were that like 37% of Vermonters with disabilities have jobs, compared to like 75% of people without disabilities in Vermont that have jobs. So we still have a long way to go.
Right.
Most of our members, quite a few of our 600 plus members at Green Mountain Self-Advocates who belong to more than like 20 local groups that we support. Anyways, most of our members do have jobs, so so people do use
Great.
their meeting time to kind of talk about what's working and what doesn't work for them as being employees and having jobs here in Vermont.
Well, I'm
for
sure that they're very motivated, because if they're part of the self-advocacy group, period,
Right.
that means that they've got some interest in bettering themselves, and
Right.
that's great.
Right.
Yeah, I went to a couple of disability days at the State House, and that was very interesting as well. I videotaped it for a show here in Orca. That was good. We featured Max a lot. He said, "Who is your friend that went to Washington?"
And David Fry?
No, it's a woman that from Self-Advocate, dark hair. I don't remember.
Nicole?
Nicole.
Nicole
Oh, yeah,
LeBlanc.
Nicole. Yeah.
Yes, Nicole.
Yeah, I knew
yes.
Nicole too. So
Yes.
anyway, she was an advocate.
She still is
Yeah, I
down
bet
in
she
Washington,
is. She's-
D.C., yes.
No grass grows under that woman's feet. This is great.
That's for sure.
But you tell me, you don't necessarily know when an individual has been matched up with a job that's been on. Do you know that? Do they come back to you and say, I got a job at, whatever company, or do they not tell you that?
I don't know, because I don't do that kind of thing in the employment corner.
Yeah?
I let the employers do that.
I think Sterling, what you do is really give a space for people to share their stories about their success, and so it's just such a motivating factor for other people with disabilities to see the stories. Sterling is always like, combing the world internet, and just trying to find amazing examples of people especially people with intellectual disabilities,
Yep.
and how they're being very successful in contributing
Yep.
to the society and to the places where they're employed. And so those stories really, I think Sterling, that's where I go to Sterling's, posts to kind of look for those stories, because they just are so motivating for
wonderful.
people,
Well, her own story, I think.
Her
is-
own story,
She's
exactly.
a star. Are you not? I have a friend of mine who has a TBI, and so she's got some mental and physical disabilities, and she's done like Sterling. She comes on my show, and she's a real inspiration. Sort of like, if I can do it, you can do it, and tries to get people not to feel so scared to get out there. And I think Sterling you seem very comfortable in most any place that you are, and that's a good thing for people to see that you're not.
It is, but sometimes some people may not feel that comfortable
Yeah, right.
in a situation.
Right.
Yeah.
And that would be helpful, that they know that they need to have somebody support them and give them that comfort that it's okay. Yeah.
I know you talked, Sterling, about people feeling, people asking for accommodations and stuff like that, but do you really feel like that's always like an easy thing for someone to do?
It's also help. It's also easy to ask for. You need to ask for help.
Right.
People need to ask for help, which is also a huge soft skill in your place. Not to mention in everyday life.
Right. Yeah. You've got to ask for help. And sometimes maybe the reason that you need help isn't that obvious. Maybe it's not something that people can see that you need help, so they might not even ask. So you've got to say, oh, wait, right? I have X, Y, and Z and need this.
I think we kind of call it like somebody's disability might be invisible.
Right,
People might
exactly.
not recognize that they have a disability.
Right, and so I think these days, people, if they see that there is a disability, they would ask, do you need an accommodation, and make it
Right.
easier. But if it's not visible, you have to be the person to step up and say yes, because then you'll be successful, so.
I think
That's
one
good.
one thing that Sterling also educates people about is that for people for their rights as a person with a disability,
Right.
you do need to disclose to your employer that you have a disability. You can't then come back and say, oh,
Right.
you discriminated against me because I have a disability.
But you never told us.
Exactly. So
Right.
we do kind of encourage people to, I mean, it's their choice to disclose or
Yeah,
not to disclose. Of course, it's their
But then you
choice.
can't turn around and use it as
Exactly.
against
so.
the employer.
Right. Well, if you didn't ask for accommodations.
When
yeah.
you talk to some of your friends and some of your customers or clients, I guess, do you have these kind of conversations with them about like if they're going on an interview and talking about what support they need?
I try to give them more resources more than commentary.
But what do you think in the CAT group? I'm sorry, the Capital Advocates Together. I mean, in that group, don't you feel like you guys meet twice a month?
We meet twice a month, and
I think you're the go-to person when it comes to employment stuff, Sterling, in that
Yeah.
group.
That's good.
Yeah.
But they look to you for expertise.
But a lot of people are in the food service department. When you work for someone with a disability, I've noticed.
And are a lot of people working, like you work 2 days a week at home, right? That's a whole new thing in the workplace.
Remote work is totally different than working in the office itself.
Yeah, you think that's better, right? Or not? Do you enjoy working at home?
It's nice to a point. It's just so boring looking at my computer.
Yeah, I know there's so many people working at home. We have people here in Vermont that work for a company,
Right.
which I guess is good. It gives you more flexibility of where to work. You can
Right.
work from a company in California and be sitting in downtown Bethel and be working. Yeah. Not me, we're right here in front of the camera,
Yes.
right? All the flaws are coming right out. I know that I read a book by Syracuse University that had a chapter called, well, the whole book was College Students with Disability, Creating Our Own Lives, and you had an entire chapter, Adventures in Post-Secondary Education. Do you remember that story?
I do. My chapter was Adventures in Posting Education was the third chapter in the book.
Third chapter in the book, but who, that's great. That was a great story. Can you share a little bit about what they wrote about you?
Yes.
All nice things, of course.
All nice things, but I don't remember exactly
Oh, you
what
don't?
they said.
Oh, well, I know that there was the professors helped to edit the book, edit the article. And,
Yes.
And it was all about you and your success.
Yes, it was. And I actually befriended this one professor.
Oh, did you? You
Yes,
both are friends?
We're friends, and he teaches disability studies at Syracuse.
Ah, at UVM.
Syracuse.
Oh, Syracuse.
Syracuse.
And who is that? There's a gentleman at UVM that you've always talked about. De Carlos? No. There was somebody that you've talked about I think a professor at UVM that you rely on a lot, but I don't quite remember his name. But
Was it Jesse Suter or something? Or I don't know.
who knows? I'll have to refresh my memory. I'm getting old. But anyway, so they think college itself is a certified college.
It's a certificate program
Right.
at the University of Vermont.
For
I'm sorry, Sterling, you can talk about
Yeah,
it
for
more than I can.
and individuals with disability or
Individuals with disabilities intellectual and developmental disabilities as well.
Oh, developmental, okay, all right, that's good. And they have, well, they certainly have all the support that's needed there.
Yes,
It must be very interesting.
it's extremely interesting.
Is it? That's great. And they asked you to, when the minute you graduated, they asked you to work for them, didn't they? They saw, they knew.
They knew something.
Sterling, you want to talk a little bit about how the program has mentors and
They hire undergraduate students from UVM to be the peer mentors in the program
Uh-huh.
to help mentor the students in the
Nice.
program.
And are you a mentor?
I was,
You,
but I'm not right now.
oh. But so what did that include when somebody was
Let's say, for example, I would help out with some stuff like some social stuff.
oh,
Maybe I would help with something,
nice,
like some social cues maybe.
cool.
did you also help people with their homework with the classes they were taking or?
No.
No? Okay, all right. I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, well, that's great. I think socially would be very, very difficult if you're not sure of yourself.
Yeah.
And you need some confidence, huh?
One thing that's kind of cool about the program is that they've done some research, they've done some qualitative research where they've interviewed the mentors who are people typically without disabilities who are students at UVM, like Sterling said, undergraduate students, and they pair up with the students with disabilities. And so, and they're helping people with their classwork
Right,
or,
right.
like Sterling said, the social, just getting involved socially
Right.
on different college programs. And, the contributions that the students without disabilities were saying that the students with disabilities, their mentees made, just really had a strong impact on their college experience
Wow, I
at the
bet.
university. So,
bet.
pretty interesting study that they did. It was great.
Well, I think you were talking about on the website stories, this book from Sterling, from the college. Apparently, there's been a lot written about what an impact it has on kids with disabilities and feeling confident that they can do it. You can do it. I think Sterling's mom and dad, from the day one, said you can do anything you want, just do it. And I think that, didn't Mom always say that?
Yes.
Get up and just do it. Because Mom's a pretty special lady, and she just doesn't let grass grow under her feet either. I knew her from state government, so there you go. So what's next for you? Anything in the future that you want to share with us? Anything exciting?
Let's see.
More work? Any presentations? I love when she does the presentations. You should.
I might be doing a presentation at the next Voices and Choices conference.
Oh, nice. Oh, at the conference. Very
Yes,
nice.
and I might be doing one on the national level at APSI.
Oh, APSI.
In
Oh,
DC in June of next year.
Super. And what would you be talking about? Employment and,
Employment at the APSI one,
yeah,
and maybe something different at Voices and
Yep.
Choices.
excellent.
And tomorrow, Sterling and I are partnering at the Vermont School Boards Association is
Oh,
having
no
their
kidding.
annual conference, and Sterling and I are going to be part of a panel that talks to school board members about how they can make sure that when they're running their meetings that they're welcoming and accessible for board members, school
Excellent.
board members who have disabilities. So
Oh, that's excellent. Good for you. And where are they holding this here? In,
it's at Lake Maury.
oh, yeah, they do a lot down in
Yeah,
Lake Mark.
yeah.
That's a great group. Very nice. Do they have somebody that signs any of those
You know,
lines?
this is the first time I've gone to their
Oh.
conference, so I'm not really sure.
Do you know, I've taken sign language off and on because it's
Have you?
one of those bucket list things that
Yeah.
I have to just do it. And there was a guy on TV that was doing one of the governor's press conferences, and for some bizarre reason, I knew he was faking it. And he was just doing like you would, kids. And I said to my husband, that guy is not. He's not. And it turned out it was true.
It was true.
It was true. I don't know where they got this guy, but he wasn't signing, so nobody was benefiting,
Wow.
which is, but strange. So in your self-advocacy group, is this, what kind of disabilities? Is it anyone's included, or is it more?
I mean, certainly it's open to people with all kinds of disabilities. There is a focus on people who have intellectual
Okay.
and developmental disabilities, yeah. Which could mean that you have cerebral palsy, which could mean that you have, difficulty seeing. You could have difficulty hearing,
Right.
So there, people with intellectual disabilities, as they come with from
Right.
all different kinds of cultural backgrounds. So people have lots of different identities than just having the identity of having an intellectual
Yeah.
disability.
Do you work a lot with the human services people? Like, I'm trying to remember the name of this guy, and I'm sure he's still there, that would like have an interview with somebody with disability and try to match them up with a job, what they would be interested in doing. They do that quite a bit there, which is, I'm sure he's probably done something with your group over the years. That's good.
Like I said, a lot of our members are
Oh, yeah,
getting services
right.
all over the state
Yeah.
and get lots of different supports from
Well,
many
for
different
sure.
areas, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So, that's it, huh? That's really good.
Do you have any other dreams or vacation dreams
Oh,
or
she's a big
social dreams?
vacationer.
No, I am kind of looking at another college online,
Oh, really?
just to take 1 or 2 classes,
That's good to keep you interested, to
and
keep you
fine
involved.
tune my communications
Good,
profession in college and at GMSA.
excellent. What college are you looking at online?
It's a Chinook,
I don't know.
South New Hampshire University online.
Oh, great, good for you. That's good. Well, you get some credits, and there you go.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
see what happens. I might not, or I might,
Well, good. It keeps your
Yeah.
finger in the pie, as they say.
What about on the fun level? Aren't you and your mother planning a trip to London or something at some point?
At some point, we're going to London at some point.
Well, you like good old Rangeley.
It's fun to a point.
Yeah, they like camping.
Right,
I prefer camping.
Yeah, not me. Got bugs.
yeah.
Love bugs.
Sterling, do you have any other kinds of messages for employers who want to consider hiring people with intellectual disabilities?
Well, they are awesome people who are so capable of doing the work and we want to be there.
That's an important message, because a lot of folks work for other reasons besides wanting to help the employer and be there. And they could call your organization.
They could. They could get in touch with Green Mountain Self Advocates.
Or Hireability, which is a great organization
Yeah.
to help people find
Find a
employment
job. That's great.
services.
And what group is that?
Ability.
Hireability.
It's part of the state government.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
It used to be referred to as VR, Voc Rehab, yeah, but now they
They
have a new
changed the
name.
name.
They changed the name to
Oh,
Hireability, yes. Yeah.
Well, that it explains it better, but they're always changing. Every time I turn around, there's something new. But there's plenty of jobs. That's what kills me. Just a little training and a little support, and you're off and running. That's good. Have you had to do any testifying of the last year or two up in the State House? Have they done anything to worry about up there?
Topper, take over.
Do what?
Topper takeover, she said. Well, we've been speaking up a lot about
Housing.
issues.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then also I think that, during COVID, we did do a lot of advocacy to make sure that people with developmental disabilities had equal access to treatment and resources, because people were kind of cut off from, because of the workforce crisis, so people were cut off from a lot of their supports. So having peers to be able to rely on and be able to get information and support from was very important.
And of
during
course, here,
the pandemic.
transportation is,
Exactly.
yeah.
good grief.
Yeah.
And do a lot of people we must have to have apartments that could deal with disabilities, certain physical disabilities for sure. And I bet if we don't have regular apartments, I sure don't have,
Right.
because they're not building either.
Right. A lot of people are many people with disabilities live with their families and live for many, many years, live with their families.
Right.
Live with their parents who are at this point aging to be
Yeah.
able to get support. Yeah.
Huh,
Yeah.
that's really bad. Does anybody fight for,
I think we all are,
oh.
yeah, trying to speak up about that for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah, because I would think, where do you go to live if it's not accessible?
Right.
That's like when you see the, I forget which organization it is, Frank Stiller, where they build homes for disabled vets and all the things that are important to them to survive and have a good life at home. I'm sure that's anybody who, and people need to be a little independent.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
and well, make your own money, like you said, and you have a very good living arrangement, I think.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I think it's very good.
I think also that nowadays with smart technology for the home
Yeah.
is really also, I'm not an expert to speak about it at all, but there are lots of people with disabilities who can speak about it.
Right.
Who you're able to get lots of adaptations for your home
Right.
that have really created lots of more independent living options for
Yep.
people living here in Vermont and across the country, for sure.
So if somebody wants to see on Facebook, they could just type in Employment Center, how do they find you?
The Employment Corner? Or
Employment Corner, right on the license, Employment Corner.
Or you can just find me on Facebook.
Yeah, and in order to join, you do ask for some information for
Yes.
people, right? So that
I do.
we have interested people,
Right.
Yeah.
not people who are going to give us a agita, as they say, right?
Right.
That's good. You have 900, that's a lot of people.
I'm trying to hit 960 at some point, but not at the moment. But numbers look good.
Yeah, numbers look good. Well, listen, people, I wish they would just quit fooling around and hire people. You see signs all over the place, you know. But and we've done that when did we stop doing the thing I can't remember the name of, the workplace.
Oh, the shelter workshops, yeah.
I mean, that's just,
Yeah.
we stopped that. That was good for us.
I mean, there still are states in the United States
Yeah.
that have shelter workshops. Although there is there's a big move federally to try to stop it,
Right,
for
that
sure.
should- Well, they could use the money
Yeah.
to help people
Right.
assimilate into an employment
Right.
situation.
Right.
And use that money for support or something. That's good. So you're working almost full-time, right? You've got 2 days, and then 2 or 3 days at UVM?
2 days at UVM, I do 4 hours for Wednesday.
Okay, all right. That's good. Well, and it seems like the same, I know some of those people, they're still, good for them that Max is working there, so
Right.
that's great.
Right.
What a charmer he is.
Yeah, Max is actually in Wisconsin as we speak.
Oh, really? What's he doing?
He's doing a keynote for a conference there, so.
Oh, I love
yeah.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Very nice. That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. And you're going to be traveling too? Where is this big conference, national conference you're going to?
It's going to be in Washington, D.C. in June of next year.
Sorry about that. The hotels are great in Washington, but I can't figure my way around that town there's no rhyme or reason to it, so you just kind of get in a cab and ask to go somewhere. Do you like traveling?
I do.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, I haven't traveled in a lot of years on a plane. If you can't drive there, I don't go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, had something happen with the TSA people that shall remain a secret. But wasn't pleasant.
Well, I'm sorry about
So,
that. I'm
yeah,
sorry
I
that
said,
happened
"Well,
to
I'm
you.
not going anymore.
Yeah.
You lost. I didn't travel. I didn't miss my money. But anyway, so how can we help you spread the word? By the end of the show, how can I help you spread the word?
People can check out your,
Yeah,
People can check out the Employment Corner
right?
and
they can check out
Oh.
Green Mountain Self Advocates,
Green Mountain
our
Self-Advocates.
website, yeah.
and also check out the Think College Vermont website.
That's great. And also, what we're going to do, Sterling did a internship here at Orca, and she is an excellent photographer. She has had her photographs displayed through, what is it called? Artwork, walk.
Walk, yeah.
And I am going to show you some of her photographs at the end of this video because they are outstanding. And they are, she's got it down. The colors, she's got a great visual. Every one of your pictures is right on. It's excellent. I was looking through them. You have a whole bunch, so we're going to put them on the video so people can see. And she knows how to do, there's a picture of you out in the hallway here running a camera, right? I asked her one time, because she worked for WCAX too. Do you remember who you told me was your favorite person at CAX? He's still there.
Gary Sadowski.
Gary Sadowski? I think I wrote to him and told him.
That's great.
I told him I just had a guest who said you were the best person at WCAX. He's a nice man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But she's well known here at Orca, so that's good. Anyway, I want to thank you both for coming
you.
on. If we can ever be of help, let us know, because we like to spread the word. If you need anybody to help fill out a dance card or something,
All
let me
right.
know. I love it. Thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget, October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Has anybody done anything this month, or is it just a name? I mean, has anybody actually, like the state?
I believe that there's like different dedications on different websites that
Oh,
people
okay.
are honoring things for sure. So
We'll have to work
Yeah.
on that.
yeah,
You know, it should be a big deal.
you know, I think it's still kind of recovering from the pandemic. I think
Yeah.
there
People
used to be a
haven't
lot
gotten
of
their stride.
in-person events. The governor, Governor Phil Scott
Yeah.
would do videos on his website. I think actually I did see one done for this year.
Oh, great.
So they are things, but I think there used to be more
Yeah.
in-person things, and to be honest with you, we're still trying to get back to that. So
Right, for sure. Yeah, I think people haven't gotten in their stride yet.
Well, and also sometimes people with disabilities are more vulnerable to getting COVID again, and so people are a little bit more. It seems like the disability community still people want to be able to make sure that
Right.
people are safe. So I think that sometimes it's been a little bit
I understand. That
Right, there's
makes
been some
That makes a lot
hesitation.
of sense.
Yeah.
You have to protect yourself.
right. Exactly.
Myself. Well, thank you both very much.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it. Nice to see you again.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
for
We'll have to
having
do
us.
lunch again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in. This is Pat McDonald, your host for Vote for Vermont, where our tagline is listening beyond the sound bites. See you next week.